What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the very first episode of the Morning Lift Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Mike, and I'm here with my good friend and co-host,
Ethan Dubreuil.
Today we're going to talk about what it takes to get in shape, some of the obstacles that people need to get over. Some of them are common, some of them not so common. We're also going to talk about the psychology behind it, what actually happens when you start working out, and we're also going to talk about some of the pitfalls and the traps that people fall into when they first start working out. I know I've fallen into them, and I'm sure you've fallen into them as well.
Yeah.
Just stay away from. If anyone comes up to you in the gym and starts offering you some shit that they don't even know how to pronounce it, just don't take it.
Just remember, everyone in the gym's an expert, and they all know what you're doing wrong with your form.
Yeah, because you want to find the guy that can at least pronounce the words on the nutrition label.
Oh, yeah.
And then you know you're in good hands.
Yeah, someone who does fitness and can read, that's pretty rare.
Yeah.
So, clearly an expert.
But before we get into all of that stuff, we're going to just introduce ourselves a little bit. Ethan, we'll start with you.
Well, Mike and I have known each other since we were about 10 years old, so we have a decade of friendship under our belt. Kudos to us.
Fuck, we're old.
Yeah, fuck. It all started off with Miss Massari's class in the 5th grade with Ned's Classified School Survival Guide. Just 2 kids trying to survive. Now we're just 2 kids trying to get swole.
And trying to survive.
And trying to survive because we're very broke.
And being adults is hard.
Yeah, it's difficult. You just go from being a broke teenager to a broke adult, and it's a vicious cycle. But in all seriousness, we both have a true love of fitness. I've been training at 4 a.m. for the past 5 years, and I love it. I love just starting my day off with my morning lift and just getting going because I feel like I have a head start on the rest of the world. And I know Mike has also adopted this, and he's been loving it too. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, I was never an early riser. I was always that kind of guy who I'd get up when he got up. I'd go to the gym like when everyone else used to go. You know, prime time. 5 o'clock, between 5 and 8. That was when everyone went to the gym. I started seeing Ethan on Snapchat with his 4 a.m. Stories every single fucking day. And it was my senior year of college, and I was like, shit, man, like, this guy's on another level. And so I said, you know what, I'm gonna start getting up at 4 a.m., see what happens. So I got up at 4 a.m., but I started getting up and working out that early, and I've loved it ever since. I mean, and I've always seemed to find this direct correlation between the time I get up and the flow of my day. So yeah, the reason why we're here at the morning lift is because we work out in the morning, and it's a play on play words.
And we lift.
And we lift. Yeah. So there's not much behind the name of this, but yeah, man, Ethan and I go way back. I mean, and you moved a lot too, right?
Yeah, I'm kind of a nomad.
Yeah.
I've had like 8 different homes in the past 10 years, but who's counting?
Yeah, I remember like we had 5th grade together, and then all of a sudden like disappeared.
Oh yeah, no warning.
Yeah, you just dropped all of his friends like.
Yeah, I just pack up in the middle of the night. I'm a lone wolf. I don't need friendship. I'm just kidding. But life happens, and you just gotta pivot and go with it.
Yeah.
But at the Morning Lift Podcast, we're just trying to bring you a discussion. We're just 2 normal guys that are trying to improve ourselves.
Yep.
And that's all it takes. Like, Mike choosing to start getting up at 4 a.m. is comparable to someone who's choosing to work out for the first time. It's that thought process. It sits with you for a while. You start thinking to yourself, oh, maybe I should go to the gym. Maybe I should do something more. Like, maybe I could have that beach body. So today's episode, we're trying to focus on getting you off of that maybe and making it a must. So we're trying to get you to just take action. Like, a lot of people, I've noticed, they get really distracted with motivation. They focus a lot on their feelings as to whether or not they get something done. And personally, I buy into the philosophy of discipline. Discipline is choosing to do the difficult thing no matter how you're feeling, because that difficult thing is the thing that's going to build you and make you better. So every day, by choosing to make the difficult decisions rather than hitting the snooze alarm on your phone every day or what have you, you're building your discipline. You're building yourself towards that person you dream of becoming one day. When you look in the mirror, like every guy's done it, we all flex in the mirror, judge us. But
some do way too much.
Some do way too
Guilty.
much. Guilty. Like young bloods at the gym. This is not necessarily a gym mistake, but we'll get more into that later.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and one of the things I want to kind of tail off of what you said is building the discipline and choosing not to hit the snooze alarm. Like I said before, waking up at 4 a.m. was easy, but it wasn't as easy as people think. When you're someone who went 21 years of their life just kind of going with the flow and waking up whenever, and whenever you got tired, you were like, oh, I'll take a sleep instead of, oh, I'm going to go and bang out one more hour of studying or training. It was hard. And when you're a full-time student in college and you're in your senior year, it's not easy because you're getting up at 4 a.m., you're working out, then you got to eat because you're human, right? We're not robots. And then you go to class all day, and then you sit in the library until 10, 11 o'clock at night, and then you start all over. But a lot of people will say that having discipline will cause you to lose freedom. But I think it's the total opposite.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Jocko Willink, one of my favorite authors, he actually just wrote a book, Discipline Equals Freedom, so fuck that.
Yeah, and the fact that, like, when you get on your A game, and I'm not saying, guys, go get up at 4 a.m., find what works for you, and you'll know what works for you if it's consistent.
Yeah.
If you can do it consistently, whether it's getting up at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., or hell, it's 10 a.m. and you're going to bed at 2 in the morning, like, find what works for you and keep it consistent. But the thing is, like, when you get on your A game and you're consistent and you're disciplined, like truly disciplined, I don't think a lot of people really understand what it means to be truly disciplined. Like, all of a sudden, deciding to take a day or to take a trip, it's not so stressful. Those people who get, like, really flustered when they decide to go out with their friends or go on a trip, and they all of a sudden they start thinking about what they should be doing or what they could have been doing.
Right.
Like, I'm telling you, man, making the change to being an early riser and making the change to just have that discipline of working out every single day,
right?
It's a game changer. So yeah, I think a lot of people, they look at it like, oh, well, as soon as I get tired of it, I'm gonna stop.
Right.
And then it becomes a trend.
Yeah, like, you notice it every single year. Everyone works out in cycles. Like, they're working out based off of motivation. Oh no, like, summer's coming up soon. It's like, I've been going to a lot of keggers, like, in college. Like, oh man, it's light beer, but I don't know. Like, sometimes drinking the light beer isn't enough, guys. Like, just hit the treadmill if you need to. We're just kidding. This is a lifting podcast. You pick up those weights, like, like,
no cardio bunnies on the show.
No cardio. Cardio is for the weak. No, I'm just kidding. But you need a little bit in it. I hate to admit it. Yeah. But, like,
cardio is cardio.
Yeah, right. But you gotta start somewhere, basically, right? So what the key is to at least getting yourself to go to the gym is realizing that this is something that is important to you, and there's a reason that you're even thinking about making this change. And I hope that when you make this, when you analyze this reason for change, it's not because someone else is telling you to do it. You gotta want change for you. Otherwise, you're just not gonna follow through with it. Like, change is a difficult process, but you know what? You're better for it. You're better for just going to the gym, just because the gym is just the opening point to like so many other things in life, because getting up and going to the gym, like regardless of like how tired you are, or like your stomach's upset, like whatever, like that builds discipline, and discipline that is something that can be applied to all areas of your life, whether it's gym or your studies or your relationship. Like everything in your life requires a discipline. Everything in your life is a study. It's something that takes time to learn and for you to get better at. So don't be scared when you're going to the gym and like, what am I doing, like how do I even use this machine? Look, YouTube has all the answers, right? Mike and I will probably put some things together down the road, and we'll show you some of the basics to help you get started on YouTube, like just basic lifting techniques. Like you don't need to be in the CrossFit cult or anything like that. Like you just have to start covering the basics and building towards a strong foundation. So once you do that, you'll have an appreciation for fitness and for what your body can do. Like when you run up the stairs, 2 months after you start working out, and you're like not winded, but your friends are. Like little things like that, they'll provide you satisfaction. Your pants aren't as tight, your shirts fit a little nicer, get checked out a little more. Mike all the time. But no, I'm just kidding. He has a girlfriend. Back off. But I'm sorry, Amy.
This is not Match.com.
This is not Match.com. This is Lyft.com. I mean, MorningLift.com. But it's all a matter of just getting started. So don't sweat the small stuff. Don't make these things complicated. Don't go searching for external motivation. Like it's great. Like some people who listen to this podcast might be readers, and you like reading a lot of personal development or motivation-esque kind of books. I mean, I love reading those kind of books too. But there comes a point where you've read enough.
Yeah.
And you need to start applying what you've read.
Right.
Okay? Like, personally, I don't like books that are like the 7 principles of, getting fit. Like,
yeah.
Those kind of things, like
7 easy steps to a 6-pack.
Right.
Shit like that.
Like there's no such thing as the easy way or magic pill or fat burning pill. Like all that. Like don't buy into that.
There's no 30-day fix. There's no 21-day program. Like, look, I'm not saying you can't lose weight or get stronger in a 30-day period, but people tend to latch onto these things, and then as soon as the 30 days are over, they're like, awesome, done. Back to the nachos,
Right.
and then they, they relapse. So there's no quick, easy fix, guys. When I started working out, like my motivation from the get was internal. Like a lot of people, it's external. They want to impress someone. They want to sort of show off to people, and or prove someone that they can do something that they were told that they can't. So guys, that has to go from external to internal. You won't last if your motivation is some extrinsic motivation. It just won't. And when I started lifting, I reached a point in my life where I was battling with a binge eating disorder, and I was overweight, but I was tall, so I didn't really look it, right? But when I took my shirt off, I looked like shit, and I hated myself. Absolutely hated myself. And so just around that time, Unique Fitness opened up, and I was like, perfect, right? I reached a point in my life where I said, no more. I'm going to change this. And the gym opened up, and I immediately got a gym membership, and I started going. And guys, I went at it hard. I went at it for 6 months where I didn't eat a single piece of junk food, processed food. Well, I mean, depending on what you want to consider processed food, but like bottom line is I did not eat crap at all.
Right.
For 6 months, and I lost like 40 pounds. And guess what? 2 months later, I relapsed. But it wasn't because it was some 30-day fix or some, get shredded quick kind of scheme. It was I restricted myself too much from like, enjoyable
Just living
foods
life.
and living life that
You want to have a beer every now and then.
I kind of snapped, and like it just got to a point where one day of treating yourself turned into 2 days and 3 days and so on and so forth. So you get on this path of positive and negative momentum almost.
Right.
You find yourself where you're riding your high, you're really good, you're on your A game, and then all of a sudden just and this is where the discipline comes in. If you have one day where you're off and you're not disciplined to get yourself up out of bed and get to the gym and get back on your shit the next day, then all of a sudden you get on this negative train of momentum, and it just rolls and rolls, and it's hard for people to get out of.
Yeah, like you don't want to fall into a rut, basically. Like you want to fall into a routine. You want to have a healthy, positive routine, and starting your day off going to the gym, that's just you starting your day off with an accomplishment every single day. If you like first thing you do in the morning, whether you eat before you work out or whatever, is just go to the gym. That's an accomplishment, and that's something to be proud of for the day. Regardless, I always say like a bad workout's better than no workout, and honestly, guys, like Mike was telling you before, he'd see me like getting up 4 a.m. every day on the Snapchat and stuff. I'll just tell you what, like some of those days, I felt like garbage because, the reason why I started getting up at 4 a.m. was out of necessity. I enjoy fitness and I care about my body, but my time was always so crunched. Like I just never had any time because I was supporting myself through college. My college every day, my driving round trip was 100 miles. I couldn't afford to dorm on campus, and not that my mom didn't want to support me through college. It's just it's tough being a single parent. So I was putting in like 30-40 hours a week, just trying to better myself every day. And the only place on my schedule that the gym fit in was in the morning. And it started off as a 5 a.m. club thing. And I just remembered, like, the next semester came, and I was so upset because I had a class at 7:15 in the morning, and that meant I couldn't work out at 5 anymore because it took me about, like, an hour and change to get to campus every day. So in that moment, I was faced with a choice. I was like, you know what? I'm like, if I could get up at 5 a.m. every day, what's another hour? Like, what's 4 a.m.? So, I didn't start off at 4 a.m. Like, I built towards it, and I made a choice because fitness was something that was important to me. And because of that prioritization and because it mattered to me, I made time in my schedule for it. I told myself, I'm like, you know what? Like, if I'm working 40 hours a week, and, school, and I'm in the honors program, and I'm running all these clubs on campus, and, like, every day, I'm like, I deserve something that's just for me every morning. And I learned to love it over time. I'm more of an introverted kind of guy. So I enjoy going that early in the morning because no one's at the gym. There's no wait for any of the machines.
Yeah, that's the one thing I loved.
No one's talking to you.
The most was being in the gym that early. If you're with people in that gym, you're with very few. So I enjoy having the gym to myself. I don't like going to work out when it's crowded and everyone's bumping shoulders. To me, it just fucks up the whole
rhythm
of the workout. I mean, like if you're a guy who likes to superset on all your machines, you go to a really packed gym at 5-6 o'clock at night. There's no way you're gonna superset because as soon as you leave that machine, someone's gonna be on it. And
which leads us to young blood mistake number 1.
Yeah.
Do not interrupt someone else's superset.
No.
It's like a war crime. Like just don't do it. It's wrong.
Yeah, and there's certain things that people do that if someone has their hood up, headphones in, and you see them jumping back and forth in between machines, in my opinion, don't ask that person, hey man, can I jump in? No, don't ask, because you know what? They're there to crush it, and if they're big enough,
they might eat you.
Because
they are trying to eat their macros, and you might be exactly what they need.
Right.
But other than, don't interrupt someone else's superset, better re-rack your weights. Like,
Yes.
just please.
Yeah.
Like, Mike, you work at a gym. Tell us how much this pisses you off.
Yeah. So I work at a gym and personal trainer and also an employee there, and or was. I actually just left the gym as of last week.
Mhm.
But anyway, I was an employee there. I was a personal trainer at the gym, and I was an employee. And one of the tasks that we had on our shift was to re-rack the weights, like every now and then on your shift. So you don't want to re-rack the floor when there's tons of people on it, because then it just gets crazy. Because then you re-rack a machine and then some guy comes over and he's like, "Oh, I was on that. What the fuck you doing, bro?" So then, you just don't want to mess with it.
Yeah, we live in Long Island based off of that accent.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. If you haven't
just so
picked
you
it up
know.
yet, we're from Long Island.
Yeah, not necessarily proud of that, but, it's who we are.
It's who we are.
The F-bomb will drop out of our mouths every now and then.
People
but
think we're assholes. It's
we,
okay.
we try to keep it classy.
Yeah, classy enough. But so yeah, you don't want to re-rack when the floor is busy. So you wait till the end of the shift, generally, when the gym is either closed or people have emptied out. And one of the biggest pains of working at a gym is when you have to re-rack and the weights are everywhere. And what I don't understand is, I guess people forget how to match shapes and sizes. They put a 5, a 25, and then a 10, and then a 45, and then you have to strip everything to find the smallest weight, and then it's a whole process that you just don't want to. You don't want to get it. You don't want to deal with it when you have to do it.
Closing
at
up.
least 10 times. Yeah, and you're closing up. It's late at night. You want to go home.
Right.
But everyone walks out at 10, 11 o'clock at night. They're like, "See you later," and you're left there with this mess of a gym, and it's not, guys. Don't re-rack because you don't want to piss off the guy behind the desk. Re-rack because it's a respect thing.
Yeah.
When you walk into someone's house, you're not gonna take your coat and throw it on the floor, are you?
I mean, maybe you will, but you're probably not getting invited back.
Yeah.
Like, it's just respect.
Not
like,
my house.
The gym is a sacred place. It's the house of gains.
Yeah, the
And-
Church of Iron.
Yes, the Church of Iron and willpower. So you know what? Like, with all things, like, that's just another component of discipline. Respect is a very important component of discipline, and it's just doing the right thing. So, long story short, re-rack your weights. Oh, and we were talking about those fitness experts before that can lift and read. You could very quickly become one of them, because it is very apparent that not many people can handle both.
Yeah.
But such is life.
Yeah.
So more myths just going into fitness is you need to spend a lot of money on eating clean food. That is just not true at all. You're not going to spend $400 a week on food. So before you go out to the supermarket and buy all the granola you can fit in your cart, just take a moment and relax. Think about the basics of fitness. Just start there. What does it mean to eat healthy food? You have meat. You have a carb.
Vegetables.
Vegetables.
A lot of people forget vegetables.
And fats. Fats are actually important. They're not bad, but you don't want to have them in excess. It's just an important component to your body composition. And actually, eating fat
And
will help you burn fat.
Not a whole jar of Skippy either. We're talking about like
Yeah, we're not talking about
cashews.
trans fat. Yeah.
Trans. Yeah, no, we're talking about the essential fats, nuts, oils, fish. Dude, one of the things that bugs me the most is I eat pretty clean up at school. So
Right.
when you're a college student and you're buying your groceries every week and you're prepping your food while everyone's eating takeout and drinking beer,
Yep.
they're all kind of like,
What are you doing?
"What are you doing?" Yeah. There was one guy at my first year away at school. He used to give me so much crap for eating oats every day, to the point where they were making jokes like, "Oh, we should get him a feeder and attach it to him so he can eat his oats while he's walking to class." And I've been doing it for so long now. It's kind of, you expect that. You expect people to rag on you for eating healthy. And I've also learned that it comes down to when people are doing that, it's because they
Feel guilty.
feel guilty because they lack the willpower to do something like that. But yeah, when you're so when I was food shopping all the time and buying food for the week and meal prepping, I remember talking to one of my housemates about it, and she's like, I really should start eating healthy. So I told her, go for it. Just start. The first step is taking the first step. You just do it. You don't think about it. You don't hesitate. You just do it.
Right.
So she's like, I would, but it's so expensive. And then I had on the counter, I think, 2 packages of chicken, several bags of rice, several bags of vegetables like broccoli and carrots and stuff. Then I also had like the little stuff like peanut butter, toast, and a bunch of other shit I can't really remember. But she's like, that must have cost you at least $150. I'm like, that cost me $70. $70.
Dude, I used to do even better than that. I used to wow people. Like, on Sundays, I do all my meal prep for the week because I like to keep things simple and organized. Like, why cook every day? Like, that's just another task that I don't want to have to deal with after I get home from work. And I work 9 to 6, and some days even later because I might be in the city. So, just getting organized, Meal prep 1 day a week, have all your meals made, right? So, I'll go to the supermarket. I'll spend like $30. I eat very well. Like, I'll have 6 meals a day. That's just how I like to do it. So, work out. I'll eat before I work out, and, it goes on from there, and I just stagger my meals into small meals throughout the day to meet my macros, which is something we'll talk about later. It's pretty much just the specifics of the nutrients you need every single day for your body weight. But that's when you start taking fitness a little more seriously down the road, and you just want to get disgustingly shredded, as I have mentioned to Mike candidly. But
he didn't just say shredded. He didn't say ripped. He said to me in a text, he said, I want to be disgustingly shredded, negative body fat. And then I told him he was gonna die, and then he was cool with it.
Yeah, like, you just gotta go in there like the Valkyries. Like, I have no fear of death. I will dine in Valhalla. No, but like,
well,
yeah.
Just like Arnold. Arnold used to say all the time. He's like, I'm not afraid of passing out in the gym because I've done it before. Like, you have to. It's sick. People will think you're messed up in the head, but you gotta bring yourself to the point where it's like, I'm not afraid to go to the garbage can and puke. And I've blacked out in the gym twice already.
Yeah.
And as fucked up as it may sound, I thought that was awesome. I got back up and I was like, yeah, let's go again. Like,
I haven't, because I remembered to breathe. No, but
I can lift and read, but I don't know how to breathe.
Yeah, like, no, it gets tough. That's another mistake. You always want to be wary of your breathing in between your sets.
Yeah.
Form is the most important thing as you're going throughout. Like, you don't want to cheat your sets. I swear to God, if I see people doing half reps, I lose my mind.
Well, wait though. There's a time and a place for that.
There is a time and a place for that, but when you're starting, don't worry about how much weight you're doing. That really doesn't matter, especially if, like, maybe you're training with one of your friends that's been going for a while. Like, people get lost in the comparison game, and it makes themselves feel bad, but you got to remember that, like, it didn't take 30 days to get your body to where it's at right now, and it's not going to take 30 days to fix it.
Right.
Like, the guy you're training with, he's probably been doing this a little longer than you, or maybe he's just lucky. Like, there's 3 major different types of body types. Like, you have the ectomorphs, who are like the skinny guys who just can eat whatever they want and never gain a pound. And like, it's not fair. But they'll complain because some of them want to gain weight. And then you have people like Mike and I. We're both like in the mesomorph category, so we're kind of in the in-between place. We have broader shoulders and a smaller waist. And then you got like Eddie Hall, like endomorphs, like the big guys. Like, your body type and your fitness, like it's all unique to you.
Right.
There's no one size fits all really, but you just have to start listening to your body. Like, know what you need. Like, just do some basic research how to eat healthy. Just stay the fuck away from granola because it's a lie.
Yeah, it's sugar and
Right.
and the one thing that's you brought up body types. It's guys, you have body types for a reason, and whatever genetic reason that may be, but your nutrition also coincides with that.
Right.
Don't fall into the trap of, oh, so and so on bodybuilding.com eats this diet and eats this amount of food, so I need to go shove 4,000 calories down my face.
Right.
And like I did that, and I got pretty heavy, not the good heavy. I think after the second month of following that diet, I just started overspilling like crazy. So don't fall into the trap of,
right.
I
You're not
need
Michael
to,
Phelps.
right?
Like
I need to eat like I need to eat like Phil Heath, or I need
The
to
Rock.
eat like The Rock. Guys, just it's 2017. You should know at this point, and with the amount of technology and information available to you, you should know at this point what's healthy and what's not.
Right.
And like, just start eating. I almost want to say to people who I train, like when they first become my clients, just start eating intuitively.
Right.
If you think, hey, this is not going to be good for me,
if you have to compromise, that's where you're wrong. Like, sure, it's a McDonald's salad, but it's not what you should be eating. Like, you just have to listen to yourself. Stay away from easy. That's what discipline's about. Stay away from fast food. Like, the fast solution is never the right solution.
Yeah.
So like, sure, the French fries and a burger may be $4, but are you really eating French fries and a burger? Or are you eating that weird pink goo or whatever? And like, I'm not a saint. Like, I've had McDonald's. Like,
yeah, like we all have our, like, we're sitting here drinking beer right now.
Yeah. And I've earned it.
But
yeah. Like
when you work your butt off, you can allow yourself to go easy a little bit, but
you just gotta earn things.
Yeah.
Like, you earn your calories. Like, I work out twice a day. Like, I lift in the morning and I do martial arts at night. So, I'm burning 3,500 calories a day, 4,000 if I really feel like going that extra mile. But like, that's not the point. Like, to me, life is about balance. Like, I don't want to be stressing out, like we were talking about before, about, oh man, like all my friends are having beers, it's Friday night, like this sucks, like I'm just drinking water because, I'm taking creatine right now, I'm trying to get big or whatever. But like, you gotta have all good things in moderation. Like, I've never been the guy, like even when I first started drinking, who just wants to get like messed up. And, as you get older, you realize that question irritates you, like, more and more with age. Like, right now, like, I've graduated college, I'm an accountant, I know, super interesting. And, I do a lot of other things, too, but, that's a matter of time. But, going to the office and, like, the first question someone asks you is like, oh, did you get messed up this weekend? It's so annoying, and it's just, like, asinine. Like, you're like, really? Like, is that all life is? Like, you work like 40 to 50 hours a week and you just get messed up on the weekend, you go back. Like, I refuse to accept that that's what my life is meant to be. Like, I'm not going to do that for the next 50 years. And I think it's childish and immature to drink like that. People that are focused on their goals, I promise you, are not getting messed up every weekend. Like, having things in moderation is fine. Like, I don't like crappy beer. Like, I don't like Bud Light and any of that, and I understand it's cheap, and it's where it's at in college. Like, you see Bud Light all the time, but I like dark beers. I like having my stouts. Like, Guinness can even be a little watery for me, but it's about enjoying it. If you're getting like obliterated at the bar with your friends or whatever, you're not enjoying it. Right. Like, you're really not. You're all you're doing is setting yourself up for suffering and just like failure the next day. Like, gluttony will get you nowhere. You
Yeah.
know?
And it's kind of like a pay now, pay later kind of thing. Like
Right.
the way I look at it is, I'd rather pay my dues now, in the gym, in the kitchen, in my life, in my anything, relationships, friendships. I'd rather pay my dues now so I don't have to pay later. And a lot of people think, oh, I'm young, I can go get obliterated at the bar. And then what ends up happening is they get comfortable and it becomes a habit. And
Right.
then we're all human. So we know that once we're comfortable, we don't want to leave, right? We don't want to leave that comfort zone. We don't want to break a habit because it might not feel good to us, but it's familiar to us. So you follow that 10, 20, 30 years down the road, and all of a sudden you have all of these health complications, and the doctor's saying, well, you have this and this, and you have to take a buttload of medication, which, if you're worried about how eating healthy is expensive, wait until you have to pay for your
kidneys
prescription
failing.
pills. Yeah.
You know,
And
like,
your kidneys failing, and
get
you
your
have high
stomach
blood
pumped
pressure.
and-
Yeah. So stuff like that.
can be avoided or at least mitigated.
Yeah, and guys, it's a compounding effect. You think getting obliterated every weekend now, oh, it's not doing anything because you can bounce back like that. But if you continue doing that, 10 years, 20 years down the road, you're going to wish you really didn't go out every weekend and get blasted.
Right. Like it's crazy, honestly. Like I had a couple friends when I was in college that, you're 20 years old and they had kidney stones. I'm like, like when I heard about kidney stones for the first time, I'm like, it's old people, like they're 50, 60 and some old guy has to pee a rock out. And, it's not pleasant and you're like, oh, whatever. It's just some far off thought, right? But when your friend at 20 years old has kidney stones, like it's kind of, it should be a wake up call. Like, whoa, like something is very, very wrong for me to be getting this, and it's your eating habits. If you're waking up and you're going throughout your day and you just feel like so low energy, like throughout the day everything's dragging on, like you just you're relying on too much caffeine, or like you're, or worse yet, you're drinking like energy drinks throughout the day, like there's a reason for everything. Like nothing happens on accident, like it's very, if I do X then Y then Z, like everything is linear and it's cause and effect. So you got to think, like, what am I putting into my body? Like, like as cliche as it is, but you are what you eat. Like, like some people eat for taste, some people eat for gluttony, some people eat their feelings, some people eat for fuel. Like, and I try to do a little bit of fuel and enjoyment. It's just balance.
Yeah. And one of the things that gets me about nutrition is, I used to think of it that way. I used to think, oh, I'm going to eat for fuel. Nutrition is fuel. But then I realized nutrition is not just fuel. It's a roadmap. It tells what you put into your body. Those nutrients are telling your body what to do. It's telling certain organs, certain systems what to do, how to respond. If you eat too much salt and sugar, and all of a sudden you get congested, and then you get a headache, stuff in your body, and it's a response. So nutrition is fuel as much as it is a roadmap, because people wonder why they walk around feeling like shit all the time, and
Yeah.
the first thing is, well, what are you putting into your body?
Right. Are you, drinking a beer before you go to bed every night? Are you, pounding down a lot of coffee and your stomach's upset every day? And I definitely am a coffee fiend, and, I'd be a hypocrite to criticize, but all things in moderation. Like, I listen to my body. Like, if I notice that, I'm not feeling as great from drinking too much coffee, I try to cycle it. I cut myself off completely. Give myself a couple weeks off of, like, coffee and whatever. Just drink water instead. And, when I feel that I'm comfortable going back, I notice that, that same first cup of coffee that did nothing for me anymore, that I just drank out of, like, the rut of my life, actually meant something.
Yeah.
Like, I actually felt something from it again. And it's not just routine. It's because we all fall into like a lot of routines out of comfort, and they're not necessarily the best ones to have. Like maybe you shouldn't watch that show every night before you go to bed. Maybe read a book for a little bit, listen to a podcast, morning lift. But like
Name dropping over here.
no, shameless, but like shameless plug. But it's about building routines and habits that will help you create a life that you're proud of living. That when you wake up in the morning, you're a little more satisfied than you would be, and you feel like you're actually achieving something. Because if you're in the same age group as us, like 18 to 25, existential crisis, it's inevitable. It's going to happen to you.
Yeah, it's
like,
going to happen, and you're gonna hate every minute of it.
Oh yeah, and like I've been living in a perpetual state. No, I was kidding. But like like.
This is now turning into Dr. Phil.
I don't really talk about my feelings. No, okay, but like like it's gonna happen, and you're eventually gonna be faced with the question like, what is my life worth? And it's not worthless. Don't ever go there. All life has worth and value, but you just have to find yours. Like, people who talk about the meaning in life and everyone's looking for the meaning in life, like, I think that's a little silly. I think it's really simple, and people overanalyze things. It's just, you're given life, you're given this opportunity to just be live. So the meaning is whatever you choose it to be.
Right.
Like, like you see there has to be something that you enjoy, that you're passionate about, and that you wish you were better at. So you can make your meaning around improving upon that. Like, I think one of the simplest ways to show meaning in life is to just give. Like, do a little charity. Do a charity event. Work in a soup kitchen for a day. Like, something like that. Like, your life is whatever you want it to be. Like, you were given a blank slate. Like, sure, some of us are born in not ideal situations or difficult environments, but like, it's not an excuse. Like, there have been people throughout the world that I guarantee you have gone through worse things than I have, that Mike's have, and you. There's always someone that's gone through more. Like, if you're lucky enough to live in a country where you can actually listen to this podcast, like, odds are, like, you have a fridge, you have water that comes out of your sink, and you don't even have to think about it. Like, you have a food store, you have a grocery market right down the street. Like, these are the kind of things that we take for granted every day. I'm like, no matter how bad it is, like, you have the basics for survival, and now it's just building. And a lot of people don't have those things. So don't take your life for granted, and don't take your meaning for granted. You get to choose. So live your life however you want. Yeah. And start by listening to the Morning Lift.
Yeah. Just a heads up, Ethan's gonna keep dropping these shameless plugs, like Hiroshima. So.
Oh my God. That was far more shameless.
But no. And you're right. You've been given a vessel, right, to do this, to carry out your life and what you think it's worth and your purpose. So more the reason why you should take care of your body. You can't give people your 100% if you're not 100%. So again, if you take care of your body, then you can take care of other people, and that can continue to last. If your purpose and passion in life is to give, wouldn't you want to do that well past the age of 60?
Right.
So start now and start taking care of your body. You don't have to go crazy in the gym. You don't have to train 7 days a week. You don't have to. You don't even have to train 5 days a week. Just
2 or 3 days.
Yeah,
even.
You can train 3 days a week. Do your cardio. Eat right, and
be good.
That's it. Just
you'll be significantly better off.
I think a lot of people
overestimate it.
They overestimate it, and they get this whole thing twisted up. They watch all these videos on YouTube. They listen to all these motivational speakers, and they think, oh, I have to do exactly what that person is doing. And that's where people get fucked up in the gym.
Right. You get hurt.
Right. They look at some guy who's already big, lifting a ton of weight, and they go, oh, well, if I got to get big, I got to do what he's doing. And then you talk to him about what he's eating, and then you go, oh, I have to eat what he's eating to get big. That's not necessarily the case. We all have different metabolic types based on our genetic backgrounds.
Right.
Some diets, like my diet for me, might not work for you.
Yeah.
And it's all dependent on how you respond to these things. And don't tell me that eating healthy is expensive either, and don't tell me that taking care of your body is expensive either. People get so
Caught up with the minutia, you know.
Right, and they see all these commercials for all these like lotions and herbs and all these organic things that if they were to buy them, they would be healthy and taken care of. Realize that someone at some point was like, wow, health and wellness is becoming this new trend, and it's continuing to grow. So I'm going to capitalize on it. So of course you're going to walk into a Whole Foods market, and some guy's going to try to sell you some shit that's organic for $60 a bottle.
Yeah, good news about Whole Foods is that Amazon just bought it. Sorry, the accountant in me is coming out. And they're making them reduce their prices, I think, by like 30%.
Yeah.
So Whole Foods has some pretty bomb peanut butter, and that's the only thing I could afford in that store. No, I'm just kidding. But like,
yes, so that it's gonna be more affordable. So don't come out of the gates and be like, I can't afford to eat healthy. Bullshit.
The filet mignon is so expensive.
Yeah.
Like sirloin steak.
Well, that's your first problem. You're going to buy filet mignon.
Yeah, I know.
Keep
like
it simple, dude. Chicken.
Yeah, I didn't grow up in Garden City.
Turkey. And I mean the food I eat. I eat a ton of food during the week.
Yes.
And that food lasts me
all throughout
5-6 days, and it costs $80.
Yeah.
Most. When I have to buy the extra stuff, it's like $100. But so don't tell me that eating food is expensive, but you're blowing $40 at the bar every Tuesday night, you know?
Exactly. Or if you're spending money on fast food every day, like you know, for me, like honestly,
that stuff adds up.
You could start like a basic like eating routine with just like $30 or $40. If you want to keep it super simple and just get chicken, some vegetables, brown rice, and just move on. Like I enjoy Greek yogurt in the day because I like the Oikos, like it. Like it's 000, like it has 17 grams of protein. Like just to start my morning, like I feel great. Like after eating that, just a few raspberries, get some carbs in, I have some energy, rather than drinking a Monster Energy and just like going about.
And you were hooked on those in high school too. You always had one in your hand, and then you had an extra one in your backpack.
Yeah, because in high school it was completely out of necessity. Like I was the kid that was the crossbreed. I was very into sports and fitness, but I also loved learning and I loved school, and I took all the AP classes, so I'm clearly a masochist and I loved suffering.
Playing hours of Call of Duty.
That was on the weekends, right? I only played on the weekends. I was like top 1,000 in the world.
We should find the video clip that you sent me and Sam about you just dominating Call of Duty. We were watching it. You had like your kill streak, it was well over like 30 kills. It was insane. And making Sam and I feel like crap because like, wow, we suck. Like, but I remember we helped you move out of your house in that house off Montauk Highway.
Yeah.
We helped you move, and I remember walking downstairs, and all I saw was just Monster cans everywhere. And then you come downstairs, and you're like, yeah, this is where I play Call of Duty. And I'm like, I can tell. You got Monster can. I can't even see the floor.
All right. Some of those were old. Like, I only have the Monster on the weekends because I would only like game like 1 day a week or 2 days, like just on the weekends because that's when I had time, but only at night because I would be studying and shit during the day or working, better yet. But like, I definitely was a Monster fiend back in the day, and it was because I would get up at 5 a.m. in high school to study before classes because I wanted to do better on the tests than everyone else because I'm very, very, very competitive.
Yeah, and this is why I couldn't think of a better person to do this podcast with, because when you're talking about consistency, drive, effort, and anything else that you can think of when it comes to success, like, you've always been just like on point and so that's why I couldn't think of anyone better to do this. But yeah, and so what do you think about guy who's just starting out lifting and he's worrying about his diet? Would you say, hey, just start eating clean, start eating to feel good, and don't worry about stuffing food in your face to reach a certain like physique?
Right. Like, I would say you're not The Rock, so don't eat like The Rock. You're not Michael Phelps, so don't eat like Michael Phelps. You're you, you
Right.
know? So, like, that was always something that I found very, like, laughable. Like, people were trying to, like, gorge, like, 10,000 calories a day to eat like Michael Phelps, or, like, 6,000 or something to eat like The Rock. But, like, the reason why they eat that many calories is because they're burning those calories.
Yeah.
You have to eat to match your activity.
Yeah, your nutrition has to match your training.
Right. Like, eating clean isn't just about eating food that, like, you would just innately think is healthy. It's about eating the right amount of food. Like, if you eat 50 sweet potatoes, like, you're not doing your body any favors. You need to balance everything out. So what I would say to someone who's just starting off and is concerned about their eating, I say great that you're thinking about eating, because a lot of people don't realize how important your meals are in regards to, like, your fitness. Because the way Mike and I look at it, or the way at least I look at it, is that it's 60% what you eat, what you put into your body, 30% your lift, and like 10% supplements. Because they're supplements. They're not the main course of action. They're
Right.
there to enhance what you already do in the gym. So I say great that you want to eat right. Just keep it simple. Chicken breast, rice, yogurt, some vegetables.
Yeah.
It's really not that hard. If you want to get a supplement, whey protein. You don't need testosterone boosters and all these things yet, because assuming that you're young, like you're a teenager, younger than 25, your body makes enough testosterone on its own to support itself. You could just eat more eggs.
Right.
It has cholesterol in it, which will help you make more testosterone. Because, like, you don't want to rely on something you don't need. Because I've had friends that, mess themselves up on supplements. One of my friends was taking everything imaginable. He was taking whey protein, casein. He was taking the Mega Man vitamin packs, and like a couple other things, creatine. And I told him when he started, I'm like, bro, you're actually going to pee blood. Like,
You're
and
gonna piss blood if you keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, he was just like, yeah, whatever. And I'm like, all right, man, like, do whatever you want. And when push came to shove, that's literally exactly what happened. Like, he started peeing blood, like, way down the road, and it's because the whey protein says take 1 scoop, because your body can only digest so much.
Right.
If you take 5 scoops of whey protein, you're not gonna get results faster. You're gonna pee blood.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, you cause kidney failure.
Yeah.
Because your body, I think you're only meant to digest, like, roughly, like, on average, like 32 grams of protein at a time. And it depends on your body type too.
Yeah, and it also, like, your body will eventually adapt to the foods that you're eating and the amounts that you're eating.
Right.
So I don't know too much about that whole 32 gram per meal thing, because I eat more than that in a meal.
Right.
At least some of the meals. And the diet I'm doing now, I'm eating like a whole package of ground turkey in one shot.
Oh
But,
my god.
I'm doing that twice a day. Anabolic fasting. Shout out to Max Effort Muscle and Corey Gregory. Talk about a shameless plug. But yeah, and I don't want to give too much away about that diet, because you do have to pay for it. But
Shameless plug, Mike, Coach Mike Fitness.
but yeah, I think your body does eventually adapt to the amount of
your body's a
you're
machine.
ingesting. Right. Don't do what I did with your first scoop of whey. Go, oh, I can handle 2, and then shit yourself because you took 2 scoops. Because let me tell you something. your body, whey protein is a very fast digesting protein.
Yeah, very fast.
Very fast. So if you've never taken whey before and you're coming from an average Joe diet, I'd say do half a scoop to start and then work your way up, and just see and pay attention to how you feel. I mean, I know guys who could pound 2-3 scoops and they do that like twice a day and
That's
they're
monstrous.
fine. Yeah, but when it comes to the sups, know what you're taking before you're taking it.
Oh
Please
my
just
God. Don't follow the hype.
Dude, all these sups on the market, they look like science projects.
Yeah, like it's all the same
them
shit
don't even
too.
work.
Yeah, like honestly, a lot of it's just hype. You know, you see a picture of one ripped guy with abs, and then you're just like, "Whoa, he takes this supplement." And
Yeah.
You just like don't be naive.
Learn
Like
to know the difference between an athlete who's an endorser and an athlete who actually takes the supplement and stands by it. And when you're just starting out, I mean, get a multivitamin.
Yeah, that's great. That's a good start.
Get a whey protein if you need it.
Right.
I try to express to clients, like, just get it in your diet. Just try to get it into your diet, because if you start to rely on the protein powder too early, that's gonna open the door for you're gonna rely on other supplements down the road.
I think one of the funniest things, like some people who I know that work out tell me, it's just like, I just can't gain weight. Like, what's the most obvious solution to that? Eat more.
Yeah.
Like, you're not eating enough. Like,
and some people are hard gainers, but when people think they're eating enough, they're actually not.
yeah, like honestly, like I only very recently did I start really taking my meal plans like very seriously, but probably like last year and a half. It feels recent. Like I've never hated food more in my life. When you're actually looking at a plate of food and you're just like angry, like that's when you have started bodybuilding.
Same thing.
Yeah, it's just
over
like
and over.
white rice, chicken, and broccoli with
Yep.
no seasoning on it, and like,
Dude,
yeah,
when
you're
I-
just crying. That salt in your tears is the only thing you got.
When I did my weight cut, that's all it was. It was seriously. I remember, because I was a trainer at my gym up at school. I remember sitting at the desk with my meal. It was like the second to last meal of the day, and I'm looking at it, and I'm going, "Fuck, I hate chicken so much right now. I don't want to eat this." And it almost, you start losing your appetite.
I fucking hate almonds. Like I did a meal plan from one of the popular bodybuilders, Sadiq, and it was great, and I had really great results. But eating like half a cup of almonds every day, oh my God, like twice a day at some points, it's miserable. And it's not like the delicious almonds that are soaked in dark chocolate. It's plain almonds, not even salted. They just taste like misery, and yeah.
No, and that's why you should start getting creative, because there are ways around
to make your food taste good.
Yeah, to make your food taste good, and there's creative things you can do with your food. But I think the main thing, guys, just get your diet down. Not even a diet, just your eating habits. Don't rely on the supplements.
Don't rely on the salad.
Don't rely on the salad. Just eat whole food. Look, if it came from the ground, if it swam, flew, walked, had eyes, and a beating heart, fine, eat it.
Right.
And also use your common sense. Like, if you want to put butter on your bread, first off, don't even eat bread. But if you want to put butter in your vegetables, I like to do that.
Yeah, steamed broccoli.
Don't do half a stick of butter.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts. Don't eat grandma's cakes and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta have a little more discipline and balance and just question things. And then, I'm just thinking about it now, like maybe some of you are vegan or vegetarian and you're just like, oh man, like, they're only talking about meat, like only you have to eat meat to get big, but it's against my value system or whatever. Well, screw your no, I'm just kidding. But like no, like just kidding. But honestly, if you look online, like I've seen some like vegan bodybuilders that are just brolic, like they're just shredded.
Do
your
research.
Right, it's possible. Like it's all about getting the nutrition you need, but you can get it in different ways and not feel bad about it. And
like
it
have
can
a steak.
Right. Like I feel great when I have steak, but some people might cry when they have it.
if you're a vegan or vegetarian or I don't know. There's so many different categories of it today, but um, just do,
Pescatarian, but you eat chicken.
yeah, just do your research and know and find out like, okay, what vitamins and minerals am I missing, or what nutrients am I missing by having this lifestyle?
Right.
And that's where the supplements come in. That's when you decide, okay, I need this vitamin, that vitamin. That's when you go to the store and then you start supplementing. And that's the purpose behind gym supplements. Like BCAAs aren't there just so you can take BCAAs. BCAAs are there for when, okay, I know I'm not getting enough in my diet,
Right.
and I know that I'm losing a lot when I train. So then I'm going to go take a supplement to replace that, or at least keep the levels at a base level. I go take nutrition's huge.
Yeah, so, like when there's a will, there's a way. So, like vegetarian, vegan, pescatarian, like you only eat seeds when they're not touching anything else. I don't know. Like whatever it is, like when there's a will, there's a way. Just do your research, find the proper way to go about it, and always just keep in mind your health. Like never be extreme. Like I'm not a fan of a lot of these extreme diets. Like ketosis is pretty popular right now, or what's another one? The Atkins diet, like those kind of things. Like, all right, yes, I've done ketosis. It's difficult to start. It takes a few days, honestly, for me.
Yeah.
You don't really know until you start tasting metal in your mouth, but you're eating a lot of fat all the time, and the idea is you eat a lot of fat to burn fat. But the problem with that is that you're eating a lot of fat. And when you eat a lot of fat, you're starting to clog your arteries and stuff. Like, regardless of how, like, ripped you looked, like, you may not be that healthy. Like, there's some bodybuilders that do, like, dirty bulks. And,
you really think that though? You really think that on a keto diet you start clogging your arteries?
You could, well, think about it. Think about if you were on keto for, like, a year. Mm-hmm. Like, I think 1 year would be enough to do damage. And, like, straight 1 year, you don't eat carbs. Like, carbs are the enemy, and you're very strictly keto, and you're only eating fat all the time. Like logically, what sense does that make? Like, I'm not a scientist. Like, like, I'm a person that has skepticism and uses my judgment to make my choices in life with food. And, like, I try to stay informed. I've read a lot of things about it, and from what I've read, I've made my decision. I'm not bashing anyone that may do it, but I'm just saying, think about it. Like,
like the healthy fats.
Right.
Eating healthy fats.
Fats are fats, right. Like, they could very well clog your arteries, but, like, it's the same for anything. Like, you see it a lot, like, more in, like, high school, like, when you first start, like, one of your friends, like, decides that they're going to be a vegetarian or a vegan or something, and, they just don't eat meat ever, right? Yeah. But then you start noticing, like, their hair gets really brittle, or they notice that their energy levels go down and stuff, and it's because you're not getting the nutrients you need. Because we have a friend that's a vegetarian, and she has to take B12 shots, because B12 is a very common vitamin that is just in meat. Yeah. And if you're not eating that, you can have a deficiency, and you just don't feel good.
Yeah.
Like, you can feel nauseous and just low energy, and it's just not pleasant. So you just got to keep in mind, you are what you eat, and you want to eat wisely. Like, like you can bulk doing, like getting your calories in, eating Big Macs all day. Like, you definitely could.
You might not. You're not going to perform as well, though.
Right. You might look good, but you got to think about how you look on the inside too. Like, you got to think about, like, sure, like I feel pretty big, and like I'm getting closer to my goal, but at the same time, like, I don't feel good.
Yeah.
Like, like, gotta keep that in mind. Food is very important, and it can't be ignored, and it can't be taken lightly.
Yeah.
When you're starting off, like, like the odds are, like, someone who's brand new to fitness knows absolutely nothing about, like, eating clean, or like they have a very diluted, like, perspective of what eating clean is. Salads.
It took me 3 years to figure out, like, that whole nutrition game. It takes time. Like, patience is key in this game. You can't expect to get everything in 1 month or one day even. I went through so many different phases of it, and I did hear that if you go from extremes, like if you go to a keto diet and then you go back to um, regular carbohydrates, but if you go to ketosis and you're in ketosis long enough,
Right.
you might actually damage your ability to go back to a carbohydrate diet.
Yeah, because you're changing your efficiency
Right.
in using carbs. Like me, I'll cycle throughout a week.
Yeah.
Like, I'll have days where I just don't have carbs, like in my week.
Yeah,
And-
carb cycling's one thing, but it takes at least 2 weeks for your body to actually go into ketosis. So you can carb cycle.
Right, carb cycling. It's different. I've heard different ranges for ketosis. For me, it was about like 3 days.
Yeah,
But-
well, yeah, everyone varies, but
Right, and like you can't really like be 100% sure unless you get like blood work done and stuff.
or you
But
get those strips.
it takes a while and it's rough. Like
You get the keto
especially
flu.
oh my god, like especially when you're trying it for the first time, you're trying keto, like oh my god, I felt terrible.
Yeah.
Like just no carbs in me. Like I just felt that emptiness in my stomach. It was awful. It wasn't because I was just fasting either. I was doing intermittent fasting plus ketosis, which whatever. That's more advanced stuff. But like just keeping it back to the basics again. Just care about what you eat. Be
Yeah.
mindful. If it comes from McDonald's, Taco Bell, I know I love Taco Bell too, guys. I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah.
be mindful. Like, it's maybe you shouldn't be eating it. Even if it is a salad or, one of their apple slices or healthy wrap or whatever, like you got to have the discipline to start eating foods that make you feel good and build you up, like even if it's not convenient, even if all
Yeah.
your other friends are doing it. Like
If you feel like shit, that's telling you something.
right, and like your friends, even though they're your friends, they don't have the same goals as you or the same interests as you necessarily. Like, and they're not as invested in you as you should be. Like, you shouldn't care what your friends say. Like, I've had friends make fun of me for eating clean. Mike's had friends make fun of him for eating oats, and
Happens every time.
yeah, they say things because they're insecure, because you're doing something different, and they're like, I don't know how I feel about it, but that doesn't matter at all. It really doesn't. I try to live my life in a way where I live to my expectations and no one else's. And sometimes like I could be a little critical on myself and judge myself a little too much, but overall I find myself happier for it, and I find myself comfortable in my own body. Even if I'm not like ripped at the moment or not, like as long as I'm cool with who I am, that's all that matters. And that's how it should be for you. Like you shouldn't live your life trying to fulfill someone else's expectations of what you should be.
Yeah.
So so you just have to just do your own thing. Don't be afraid to do something different. Break away from what's normal. Break away from the rut and the routine that hasn't gotten you anywhere closer to your goals, and try something new. Like work towards that higher road, that better path that'll lead towards a life that leaves you feeling satisfied. Like
Yeah.
people,
You have to love yourself.
right, like people, that's really where it starts. It's like learn to love yourself. Like even if you like first start off, you look in the mirror and you're really like hard on yourself, and you're just like like this is my body, like this is it. Like we've all been there. Like even like guys that you think are in like really good shape, I guarantee you they've been there. They're just like, oh man, like I really want to get to 4% body fat, and
Yeah.
like I just can't. And like but to an average person, they're like, well, you're ripped already. Like the thing is that everyone always wants something that they don't have, or something someone else has, and then it bothers them, and it's more and more difficult and available for us these days to play these comparison games. Like you go on Instagram for 30 seconds and you already see some guy who has like 7 Lamborghinis, and the fitness models, this guy that looks like 4 of you, or like we all have those moments. I'm not huge, like
Yeah.
stay humble. But like it's just don't get caught up in the madness. Don't get caught up in the hype. Don't get caught up in what other people think of you. All that matters are your goals and what you think of yourself.
Yeah,
So
and don't and just keep in mind that you're not gonna look like the person who you admire on Instagram. You'll get close. Like, you can have abs, you can have big arms, big legs, whatever. You can what you admire on Instagram, on any social media platform, or even in the gym. Understand that you at at the end of your training, 5 years down the road, you might not look like that person.
you're gonna look better.
You're gonna right,
Just
and, but you're gonna be the better version of you, and you have to. I get caught up in it all the time.
Yeah, me
You know,
too.
when you're on it day to day, you get to a point where you kind of stop seeing progress,
Yep.
and then you reach a point where you start
plateau.
thinking, right? You're like, you're not happy with yourself,
Right.
and you plateau, and you get down on yourself. But then you have to really stop and think for a moment. Okay, where was I like 3 years ago?
Right. Perspective.
That's why pictures are key. Like, take pictures when you start.
Even if you don't want to, guys.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard. Like, to be fair, Mike and I were thinking about taking a photo today to show you where we go, like, from here. And, like, I'm not ripped. Mike is I think Mike's a lot leaner than I am, but, like, disgustingly shredded. I have 30 days. But you gotta start somewhere, and lead by example. Like, we're not just gonna talk at you. Like, we're not two overweight guys and sitting on a couch drinking
Right.
beers. Like, just well, if you do this and
Yeah,
that,
you have you're listening to a personal trainer who's been in the fitness game for quite some time now. I've been in it since I was years old. Like, both my brothers, I had a brother who was a bodybuilder. My second brother, he got into like powerlifting, and guy's just a brick shit house. He's just 280 pounds of just rock.
Right.
And growing up, they always took me to the gym. My brother had dumbbells under his bed, and I would always do like small workouts. All I knew how to do was push-ups and bicep curls and sit-ups. Like, that was it. So I've been around it for a while, and then it wasn't until high school I got into it more. I started doing sports. I ran track. I was a little Forrest Gump on the team, because I could just run. I never got tired. I could just run. Hit the weight room in high school, and then when I got into college, my freshman year of college is when I really started taking it seriously. And so I've been around it for a while. So I became a personal trainer because of my love for fitness and the ability to help people.
Mhm.
And like, I don't know everything.
Right.
I'll probably never know everything, but it's a process. It's a learning process. So the stuff that we're putting out on the show, we're still in a learning process. We're not speaking to you from some kind of soapbox.
Yeah.
We're speaking to you from a point of
Trial and error.
trial and error. Yeah, like, we figure this shit out, and we're gonna figure more shit out on the way. But coming from Ethan's side, you're listening to someone who's probably more dedicated than I am.
I wouldn't say that. Mike's definitely a lot better at eating clean than I am.
But well, when I say dedicated, I'm saying it in the sense of, when you want to look at someone who's got drive and dedication to just improve themselves, like, there's times when I'm sitting on the couch and I could be reading a book, I could be writing, I could be learning something new, but I'd rather choose to watch TV. Whereas I think if you were in that position, you would immediately just be like, I'm gonna go read 20 more pages. So this stuff's not coming from two fat guys sitting on the couch eating Doritos. It's coming from two fit guys sharing a Guinness. And
yeah. Drink good beer. If you don't get anything else out of this
just
podcast,
drink good beer.
just please don't ever drink Bud Light again. Just drink stouts
Yeah.
and porters and dark ales. Yes. Start today. No, I'm
Yeah,
just kidding.
and get a job in college so you can save up for the weekends. because trust me, when you start going to parties, you're gonna want the good shit.
Yeah.
Because it's all gonna be PBR and.
Oh my
Bud.
god, I don't get how people drink that. It's literally the most disgusting beer I've ever had. And then there's Rolling Rock, which is like slightly less shitty, but still shitty. But like, I don't know, guys. Like, all right. So like, two other side notes about fitness that have crossed my mind. So Mike had mentioned it before with like just body weight exercises, calisthenics. If you don't have a gym available to you, do push-ups,
Oh yeah.
do sit-ups. You know, like pull-ups. All right, sure, I get that might be a bit of a stretch because you have to buy the equipment, but maybe you go to like the local park, whatever, do it. And a lot of people, I feel like anxious with pull-ups, like when they first start it, and because they're not sure if they could do it or they can't do a lot. Doesn't matter. Don't stress that at all. Like, just get up there and try. Like, if you can't do a pull up, hold yourself up there. Like, so just start with the basics. You can do, like a basic circuit in your house. You don't need a lot of space. You could
No.
probably do it in your living room. Can't do it in the living room, do it outside.
Shit,
Who
that's-
cares what anyone else has to say?
That's what I started out doing. I started out just doing push-ups, sit-ups, and going for runs around my neighborhood when I first started out, because I didn't have a gym near me. The nearest gym was like 30 minutes away, and I couldn't drive.
Right. And then the other point, money. I get it. Like, money is tight. Like, if you're not lucky enough to have like your parents support you and stuff, like it's hard. And you can either just accept your circumstances for what they are and be like, well, I'm just broke all the time, or you could do something to change it. Like, there is always a way for you to make, maybe like minimum, like an extra $50 to $100 a week. There really is. If you're not working, like, really, man, like, you can't find any time to make money. It doesn't even have to be a part-time job. Like, just go on Craigslist, do an odd job, help someone move on the weekend or something. Like, money is there. You just have to look for it, Like, do the work. It's not just going to fall into your pockets and, like, as much as we wish it will. Like, yeah, a gym membership, we're not saying go to LA Fitness and spend, $60 a month. I've trained at Planet Fitness for years, and I guarantee you I'm in better shape than some of the people that are at LA Fitness or Unique Fitness, and they judge because of where you're going. Like, who cares what anyone has to say? Weight is weight,
Yeah.
Spend, pay $5-10 a month and go to Planet Fitness. Start there.
Especially when money is not really, when you don't have a lot of it at the moment. Well, not even. If you don't have the money to shell out $30-40 a month for memberships, I know there's one gym, Retro Fitness. If you just want to pay for the month in full, they want $75. And it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Insane. And if you don't have that money, then just
keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Go to a gym that is $10 a month. There's Planet Fitness. There's Crunch Fitness. You could even do year contracts where you're spending, $20-30 a month coming out of your bank account automatically. But
get creative.
Get creative with it, and also over time invest the money in equipment for your house.
Right.
I'm not saying like go get a squat rack, but get a yoga mat, get an ab wheel, get some dumbbells over time.
Yeah.
And make that investment. And I've seen guys who get ripped just by doing home workouts.
Right, you can do it.
You have YouTube, you have all these websites where you can look all this stuff up, and it's don't make an excuse, and also don't make the excuse that you don't have time. You just heard it from a guy who worked 30-40 hours a week in college, got up 4 a.m. to work out, and still had to study and do his work and make time for friends and family. So don't make the excuse, oh, I don't have time to work out.
There's always time. It's a matter of getting your priorities straight. And it's a matter of not accepting no for an answer when it comes to your health. Like, all right, the gym's expensive. What do I do? You have to look at everything every obstacle you face is an opportunity to solve it. Like every problem you face is just a challenge, and you can either rise to that challenge or let it defeat you. So sure, you don't have a lot of money, but maybe you got something on your birthday. Like rather than buying a video game, maybe just go on Craigslist and get get some dumbbells. Start there, even if they're like 5-10 pound dumbbells. I promise you, if you do 100 reps with a 5 pound dumbbell, you're gonna feel it. Like it doesn't take a lot. Don't stress out the amount of weight. You don't need 50-pound dumbbells to get started. Like, keep it simple. Always keep it simple, and keep being creative in how you solve the problems that you're facing. Like, you don't have enough money. What can you do? Maybe mow a few lawns. Like shovel. I used to be a shoveling fiend. I worked alone. I refused. I stopped taking my little brother after a while because he didn't go fast enough. I was doing more of the work, and like, I love my brother, but my bank account was weeping. So I'm like, sorry, man, this is a solo mission from now on. And
Oh my God.
I would just go nuts. I'd get up 7 a.m. and just shovel as many driveways as I could. And I would pocket like $500 in a day. And especially if you're not paying bills, $500 is a lot of money. If you're just a kid, sorry, I don't want to call you a kid, but like if you're not
If you don't have
paying car
responsibilities,
insurance and like things like that, like $500 is a lot of money, and it's so doable. You could flip some things, like go to a garage sale, Gary Vee it, but
go to the dollar store.
go to the dollar store, sell everything for $5 to everyone get creative. Don't allow yourself to get defeated so easily. Don't stress.
You have to want it.
You got yeah. It's really just wanting it and being willing to find a way to get it done. It's very, very simple, and it's like that with all things in life. If you really want something, you will find a way to do it. There's a difference between oh, that'd be nice. It'd be nice to have X, Y, and Z, but that it's just not enough to think, oh, it would be nice. You gotta want it with everything you got. You're like, I want to be healthy. For me, the reason why I work out is because everyone always says oh, you have 100 years to live. How many people in your family live to 100?
If you don't work out and eat right, you don't have 100 years to live.
Right. And those people that live to 100, how do they live? Do they remember everything? Can they walk on their own?
Right.
Those kind of things scare me, and I think about it. And the reason why I work out is because I want to strengthen my tendons now and just be healthy, so my heart doesn't give out on me randomly one day. I want to be 85 and still be able to walk, on my own. I want to have my mind still. I don't want to forget everyone that I've loved. I'm sorry to take it to such a dark place, but you really only get one chance at this.
Yeah.
As far as we know, this is the life that I was given, and I'm gonna cherish it. I'm gonna live it out in a way that leaves me feeling satisfied and proud every day.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if you haven't picked up on it yet. Fitness, just health in general, it goes a lot deeper than
just getting muscles,
Yeah, it goes a lot deeper than just getting big, getting ripped, getting strong, being the strongest guy in the gym. Health and fitness it goes way beyond that for the both of us. And I mentioned way earlier on, it's got to go from external to internal. You got to be doing this for you. And look, if feeling good and feeling strong is what gets you motivated to get in the gym, fine. If it's something deeper, like Ethan just described, where you're thinking years down the road where you still want to be able to, move around and have your life, more power to you. So just like I said, it's got to go from external to internal. But yeah, I don't know. It's
I think that's about it for
Yeah.
our first episode. We really hope that you enjoy the content that we're providing. You know, we're still testing things out. We're gonna
Yeah.
get the hang of this, and we're just gonna keep trying until
it's
we
gonna
perfect this.
yeah. It's
This-
gonna get better. It's gonna improve. Like one thing.
Yeah, this is a working process.
Yeah,
you
one
know?
thing at a time. But yeah, if eventually we'll start taking like topic requests, questions.
and
It's gonna develop. I think this is a start to a new project that I think it's gonna be a long-term project, and I think it's a long-term goal. So yeah, so today we talked about what? We talked about the nutrition side of things. We talked about the discipline behind it. Get your ass out of bed even when you don't feel like it. And we also talked about
eating clean.
eating clean.
It's not a McDonald's salad.
Yeah.
Just start there. And then drinking the right kinds of beer. Alright, don't drink Bud Light. Alright, and you know what, guys? Like, it's your life. Value it, appreciate it, and grow. Build towards your goals. So I think we're ready to wrap up this podcast here. So thank you so much for listening. If you have shameless
the
plug
world,
time,
yeah.
like shameless plug number 1, please follow Coach Mike. What is it on Instagram?
Coach Mike _fitness.
All right,
I
and
think it's Coach Mike Fitness. It's Coach Mike _fitness on Instagram.
and you on the Twitter, or
I am on the Twitter.
you send the twits?
I send the twits. The Bro Sesh at the Bro Sesh.
All right, at the Bro Sesh.
That was originally going to be the name of this podcast. It was going to be the Bro Sesh podcast, but then I thought I was going to attract the wrong kind of audience.
Yeah, like we can't do bro science stuff. Like,
No.
but great content, but just not our style. We
Yeah.
just want to, like, this really is just a discussion board, and we're trying to build a community of just people that genuinely care about fitness and aren't afraid to ask questions and just communicate with each other, you know?
Yeah.
So we're trying to build something here.
And eventually there's going to be a website that's going to get published, and it's going to go along with this podcast. So for those who tune into this podcast and start listening, you guys will have access to the fitness website that I'm currently building. It's not going to be the Morning Lift. It's going to be a different name. I don't want to give anything away now, but stuff is in the works, and I'm excited. I know we don't sound too excited because it's almost 11:30 at night
On a Friday.
on a Friday, and we're filming a podcast because we're the coolest people in town.
Well, duh.
But yeah, I'm stoked. I can't believe this is finally happening. This has been a year in the making.
Yeah, like, you know, it all seems so far away until you actually start doing it.
Yeah.
You know, so my shameless plugs, you can follow me at Ethan Debreu on Instagram, or I'm also pretty big into photography, so you can see it Ethan.Diabru photography on Instagram. So
Yeah.
Twitter, you know, you really won't see a lot from me. The occasional existential crisis or witty thing that I feel like saying, but
Road rage tweets.
yeah, we won't get into that. You know,
Yeah.
but
And I think it's interesting having you on as a co-host because we might have the fitness in common, but when you really break it down, our dynamic as characters, it's almost like we're on two different levels, you know.
yeah, like we're each our own people, and
Yeah.
like we have different fitness goals. Like we both love fitness, but we're going two different directions.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah, I'm trying to open a gym and become one of the best personal trainers on the island.
Very achievable. Like, you know, it starts off with just being bold enough to say things like
Yeah.
that. Like, you know, like when you start saying your goals out loud. Me, I definitely I see myself owning my own business, and
You keep quiet about a lot of goals.
I do keep quiet because I don't like talking about things that I don't have yet. You know, like there's a lot of ego in the world, and ego is the enemy. Like, you just You don't want to
Yeah.
get lost in all that. So for me, like, keep quiet, but work fiercely in that
Yes.
silence. Like, like my weekends, I work. I have a lot of things that I'm passionate about, that I love, and that I'm proud of, but I don't like showing incomplete projects or incomplete pieces to something that I'm working
Yeah.
on. Like when you guys see what I finish, it is the finished product, and I really hope that you guys can love and appreciate what I've put so much effort into, or that it can just provide some value into your own life. But all in good time that you'll see those things. So, ending on that note,
Yeah, I think that's it. So, thank you guys for listening. Again, this has been the Morning Lift podcast, and I hope that we have been able to bring you a morning lift. And that's it.
yeah,
Let's
have a
kill
good
it.
one. Cheers.